my yarny friends, I'm Sara Sach. Welcome back to my crochet channel. Today's video, I'm going to show you how to make these beautiful sunflower rugs. I stitched up two of them. This one's done in lavenders. This one's done in yellow, which I love because this one's going to go in my sunshine bathroom. They measure 24 by 24 inches, so they're a really great size. But if you want to make them bigger, you can just continue the repeat until it's the size that you want. Now, if you're worried about them being slippery, at the end of the video, I talk about 4 different options that you can do for the back of your rug so that you don't fall and slip. But if you're going to put this on the carpet or a surface that's not slippery, then you don't need to worry about that. But nobody wants to slip. That's for sure. All right. Now you can find the complete pattern with lots of pictures on my blog. And as always, I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. All right, let's talk about yarn. I used all Bernat blanket yarn for both of my rugs that I made. I made one in the yellow and one in the purple. All right, so you're going to need about 10 ounces of the color you want to use for your flower. You need about 10 ounces, and it's a Bernat blanket. You can use any blanket yarn as long as it is a super bulky number 6, okay? And like I said, I made a purple and I made a yellow. Then you need about maybe 2 ounces of the green, which is where we did that green circle around between the center and the flower. Now for the center of the flower, I use this light beige color for the yellow one. On the purple one, I used just a solid gold. That way the contrast was just a little bit different. So you can see you can use any of the Bernat blanket or any blanket yarn or any super bulky number 6 yarns, okay? 10 ounces of the color for the flower, 2 ounces for that green circle, and then about 4 ounces for the center where I used this beige. All right, we're stitching today with our L hook, and the L hook is an 8mm crochet hook. All right. And then all you need besides that is a needle to weave in ends, and you need to make sure it's a needle with a nice big eye, because weaving in ends is different when you're using a Bernat blanket than say an acrylic or cotton, and I'll show you that as well. All right, and then you need a pair of scissors. We're starting with the center of the flower, so I'm going to use this beige that I did with the sunflower one, the yellow. We're going to start with a slip knot. And we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to join this into a circle. If you prefer to use the magic circle or magic ring or another method to make your circle, you certainly can. Alrighty, so now we have our circle. We're going to go in, pull up a loop, and chain 3. Now, if you've never used a super bulky yarn like this, it can be a little bit clumsy at first. You're using a bigger hook and the yarn is thicker. So just take your time. And as I always say, enjoy the process. All right, so we've chained 3. It counts as 1 double crochet. Now we're going to double crochet 11 more in this ring. So we have a total of 12 double crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is going to be a tight fit because this is some thick yarn and some thick stitches. So just keep squishing them in there. Alrighty. Let's see how many I've done so far. All right, so our chain 3 counts as our first. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we need 10, 11. Oops, get that tail yarn out of the way. And 12. So we did a chain 3 and 11 double crochets, which makes 12. All right, let's count just to make sure I did the right amount. So we have our chain 3, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So we have our chain 3 and 11 double crochets. You'll also notice I did stitch over my tail of yarn. That's so we can pull that gently and close up that hole. All right, so I'm going to join to my chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. All right, so let's turn this over. Like I said, gently pull on that, and I'm going to go ahead and just weave this in. We'll be changing colors twice, so we will have a little bit of weaving in to do. But I like to go ahead and get this first one done. That way I don't have to worry about it. All right, now when we're weaving in on this blanket yarn, you need to go in and then go back the way you came, and we're going through those stitches, and we're just going back and forth, and that's going to keep that from coming undone. And you want to try to start with the longer tail so that you can do a couple of weave-ins back and forth, because no one wants the center of their little rug to come undone. That would just be embarrassing. All right, we'll get those out of the way. Fuzz balls. All righty, now for row 1 we have 12 double crochets. We joined to our chain 3 and chained 3. All right, let's do row 2. We've chained 3, which counts as our first double crochet. We're going to double crochet in that same stitch, get in there, as our chain 3. And now we're going to go to our next double crochet and stitch 2 double crochets. And we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of those double crochets around. 1 and 2. One and 2. So for round 1 we had 12 double crochets, and so for round 2 we're going to have 24, because we're stitching 2 double crochets in each of those double crochets around. And you're going to notice how quickly this rug stitches up, because we are using the big crochet hook and the big chunky yarn. We stitched 1 double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3, and then 2 in each around, so we have 24 double crochets. We're going to join to that chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. And basically for row 3 we're just going to repeat what we did for row 2. We're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3 and 2 double crochets in each of those stitches. One and 2. One and 2. So 2 double crochets, get the yarn out of the way there, in each of our double crochets around. And again, we'll join back to our chain 3. So again, we stitched 1 double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3, and then 2 in each all the way around, so we have 48 double crochets. We're going to join to our chain 3 with a slip stitch, but we're not going to chain 3 because we're going to change colors. And again, leave yourself, a good 6 inches of yarn. That way it makes it easy for weaving that in. And I'm going to move this yarn out of the way, and I'm going to bring in the green that we're going to use next. All right, so I'm going to leave myself about 6 inches of yarn. And I do this, it's a good idea anyway to leave a good amount for a tail, but I just want to make sure when weaving in the blanket yarn that I have enough to get it woven in securely. All right, so we brought in our green and we're going to chain 3. Again, this chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. We're going to double crochet in the next 2. 1. Let me get some yarn out here. There we go. And 2. So our chain 3 counted as 1, and I stitched 2 more. The next stitch, we're going to stitch 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. And this will be our repeat for row 4. 1 double crochet in the next 3 double crochets, and 2 double crochets in the next. 1 and 2. All right, and we'll just repeat this all the way around. 1 double crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, 3. And 2 double crochets in the next. 1 and 2. Okay. That's the way that row 4 will work. Okay, I need to get some more yarn out here. 1 double crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. And 2 double crochets in the next. 1 and 2. And repeat all the way around and join back to our chain 3. All right, we have completed row 4. 1 double crochet in the next 3, 2 in the next, and repeat all the way around. So you're going to have 60 double crochets. We're going to join to the chain 3 with a slip stitch, and we're going to slip stitch in the next double crochet. All right, I've went ahead and cut my yarn. Make sure again you leave yourself about a 6-inch strand of yarn for weaving in those ends. And we're going to bring in our color 3. And I'm using this gold. There we go. We've got enough strands here to weave in. Because again, weaving in on this blanket yarn is a little bit different than, say, an acrylic. All right, so now I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to skip over to those 2 double crochets. And we're going to stitch in between where we stitch those 2 double crochets together. And we're going to stitch 2 double crochets. 1, 2, chain 1, and 2 double crochets in that same space. All right, let me show you how that looks. Here's where we stitch those 2 double crochets, and then we stitch 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 double crochets in between those 2 double crochets. All right, now we're going to skip where we stitched there, then we'll skip the next double crochet and stitch 1 double crochet in the next. And then we'll skip over to the next place where we've stitched those 2 double crochets in the same stitch, and we're going to stitch 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 double crochets in that same space. 1 and 2. And this row is real important that we get it right, because this sets up all the petals for around the edge of our flower. All right, so here's those 2 double crochets where I stitched 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 double crochets. Then we'll skip the next double crochet and double crochet in the next. All right, let me show you how that looks. All right, so let's do a few more just to make sure you're understanding what we're doing. So here's my double crochet. I'm going to skip the next one, and that brings me to the 2 that are stitched together. And in between those 2, they're not stitched together as in a decrease, they're just both stitched in the same stitch. Okay, and we're going to go in between those 2 and stitch 2 double crochets. 1, 2, chain 1 and 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. All right, so there's those 2. We're going to skip the next and stitch 1 double crochet in the next. All right, and this is our repeat for working around for row 5. 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. In between those 2 double crochets that are stitched in the same stitch, skip the next and then double crochet in the next. All right, and we're going to repeat this working all the way around and join back to our chain 3. I have now completed row 5, and you're going to have 12 sets of your 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet all the way around. You'll have 12 of each of those. All right, so now we're going to join to our chain 3 with a slip stitch, and that's the way that row 5 should look. And you can already see how the petals are going to work on our flower. All right, now we're ready for row 6. So we've joined to our chain 3. We're going to slip stitch in the next 2 double crochets and slip stitch in the chain 2 or the chain 1 space and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. This chain 3 counts as a double crochet. Now we're going to chain 1 more time because we want to chain 4 because it's going to count as a double crochet, chain 1. And then we're just going to double crochet 1 more time in that chain 1 space. All right. So basically we've got a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in that chain 1 space. Now we're going to double crochet in the next 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. Now we're going to double crochet in that double crochet. Some more yarn out here. There we go. And this brings us to our next set of 4 double crochets, or 2, 1, and 2. So we're going to double crochet in the next 2, 1, 2, and now we're at the chain 1 space, and we're going to double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet in that chain 1 space. All right, so now we're going to double crochet in the next 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, double crochet in that individual double crochet. All right, and you'll already notice how it's going to start pointing for the petals. All right, and then we'll double crochet in the next 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. All right, I want to take a look at that so you can get an understanding of how row 6 works. we double crocheted, chain 1, and double crochet in the chain 1 space where we did previously the 2 double crochet, chain 1, and 2 double crochets. Then we double crochet in the next 2 double crochets, 1 in that one that's in the middle, and then 2 in the next. All right, and then that brings us to our chain 1 space, and we're only stitching 1 double crochet, chain 1, and 1 double crochet in the chain 1 space. All right, and so now what we're going to do is we'll double crochet in those 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, double crochet in that 1 double crochet, and then 1 double crochet in those next 2 double crochets. And this is where those sort of points or petals are forming. All right, so we're at our chain 1 space again, and we're going to stitch a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. And then again, 1 double crochet in those 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, double crochet in the double crochet. All right, and then we'll just continue to repeat this all the way around and join back to our chain 3. I have completed row 6, and again you're going to have 12 of your points or petals, and they're going to be a 1 double crochet, chain 1, and 1 double crochet, and then you'll have 5 double crochets in between each of your petals. Once you get to this point, the rest of this pattern is a super easy piece of cake. All right, so here is my last double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and then my 5 double crochet stitches. I'm going to join to the chain 3. I'm going to slip stitch in that chain 1 space and chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, that chain 4 counts as a double crochet, chain 1, and then we'll go right back in that chain 1 space and stitch a double crochet. And so now we're going to stitch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 double crochets in between each of our points. 1, 2, 3. My yarn doesn't want to come out there. There we go. Whoops. There we go. All right, so now we have 7. So we have our double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 double crochets, and that brings us to our next chain 1 space. And we'll stitch a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet in the chain 1 space, and then 1 double crochet in each of those 7, and repeat all the way around. I have completed row 7. And again, we have 12 of our points, but we have 7 double crochets in between. And so what you're going to do is you're going to continue to repeat row 7, only you're going to increase by 2 on each of the amount of double crochets in between. So you're going to repeat it for 3 more rows, increasing every row. Now at this point at row 7, it measures approximately 16 by 16 inches. You're going to be adding 3 more rows plus a trim, and at that point it should measure approximately 24 by 24 inches. But again, we all have different tensions. It might be bigger, it might be a little bit smaller. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to repeat row 7 for 3 more rows, increasing stitches every row. So here is my actual sunflower rug that I'm going to be using in my bathroom. And it measures at this point about 23 by 23 because we are going to put a single crochet row all the way around the edge. And you can see why I did the demo in a solid, because it's really difficult with it being a variegated, although I really love the variegated in both the purple and the yellow. But I'm going to go ahead and finish that gold one also, just because they're beautiful. And they're easy, and they're quick, and they're fun. But this is how it looks. It's 24 by 24 when I put the trim on. And the trim is a really simple trim. We're just going to stick with the same yarn, and we're going to do a row of single crochet all the way around. So here is where I joined my last row, which was row 10, because we did 7, then we did 3 more, 8, 9, 10. And again, if you want this rug to be even bigger, you can continue to do as many rows as you want to and make it as big as you want. All right, so we joined with a slip stitch and chained 1. And now I'm just going to stitch a single crochet in each of the double crochets until I get to that chain 1 space in each of our corners. Let me move this down. I don't want to drop it on the ground here. All right, so I did my single crochets. I'm at the chain 1 space, and in the chain 1 space of our 12 corners or points, we're going to single crochet, chain 1, and single crochet. And that's going to help our rug keep those points that are representing all of our petals of our flower. All right, and then we'll just single crochet down to the next point and do the same. It's just really simple row of single crochet all the way around. I have single crocheted all the way to the next chain 1 space, and again we're going to single crochet, chain 1, and single crochet in that chain 1 space, and then we'll just head right down the next area and single crochet across till we reach the next point. And we'll do that all the way around the edge of our rug. I have stitched all the way around my rug a nice even row of single crochet, stitching that single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in each of my 12 corners. And that's going to help your corners of your flowers poke out so that it looks like petals. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut my yarn. I'm going to join that to that first single crochet with a slip stitch, and then I'm going to pull that loop to the back so I can weave that in. All right, now weaving in on this type of yarn is a little bit different. You still need to use a needle. You still need to weave it in. But the key really is, because you can't go through the fibers very well. And so the key is to go one way, then go back the other way, and kind of go through the stitches. Don't go through to the front, and just make sure you have a long tail so that it can go back and forth. All right. See how I'm just kind of going into it back and forth. But don't make a bump, because you don't want to bump when you step on this, because it is a rug. Okay. Now I do have some more ends to weave in. I guess I did these already. There's one more there. Okay, so there's a couple of things we need to talk about. Let me move my container so I can show as much of the rug as possible. One thing that might happen is it might be a little curly. So what you can do is spritz it with some water. Do not get it soaking wet. It's not necessary. Just get your water bottle, spritz it, lay it out in the sun or maybe across your dryer or put a towel under it and lay it under something flat and just pin it out so that it lays nice and flat. My first one I didn't curl. This one curled a little bit. Okay, so it just depends on your tension. You might need to, tighten up or loosen your tension. But I love it. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is if you're going to put this rug on the carpet or not slicky surface, is slicky a word? Slippery surface, it's totally fine. But if you're worried about it sliding, at my age, I'm 62, I worry about sliding and falling. There's several different things that you can do. Number one, you can go to like Lowe's or someplace that sells rugs and purchase some of that rubber matting, and you can adhere it to the back. You can do that. You can also use carpet tape. I don't really recommend carpet tape because carpet tape, in my opinion, messes up the floor underneath and doesn't stick real well to the rug. Another option is to go into the craft department and pick up some paint called puff paint. And anywhere where they sell acrylic paints, you can find puff paint. And you can swirl that around the back, make sure it's dry, and I mean really dry before you put it down, or you'll end up painting your floor with those lines. The one that I like to use the most is hot glue. I'll just flip it over. My hot glue gun does not have the heat on because I didn't want to do that right now because I just don't have the space to show you exactly. But what I do with my hot glue gun is I just make circles, and I'll make a circle here, then I'll make a circle here, and then I'll do it a little wider out and do maybe 4 or 5 rows of just a circle. Make sure you let that dry really, really well, or you'll glue your rug to your floor. Okay, but I have found that hot glue, it forms a little bit, that edge of the hot glue, and it keeps it from sliding. And I really like using that option. But of course, you need to use the option that works best for you. All right? But that is our sunflower rug. Let me grab the purple one so you can see it as well. Here's the purple one, and I really love this one. See, this one didn't curl as much. The yellow one did. We made them exactly the same. My tension was probably just different. All right, so I've got 2 beautiful rugs that I can use. I just love them. I think Rosie's already taken over the purple one though. But this is our sunflower rugs, and I just had so much fun making them because they work up quick and they turn out just beautiful.